What is up, guys? I'm here today with the tier list. Doing another one of these, ranking all 7 Jurassic Park slash World movies, including the new Rebirth. I just got back from watching it with a friend, and now I'm here doing this now while it's still fresh on my mind. And no webcam. My laptop doesn't like that. So yeah, no webcam. Uh, but anyways, let's get started. I love this franchise overall, and we're just gonna get right into it. Here's our tiers. We got no expense spared. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Life finds a way. They could, but they didn't stop to ask if they should, and that's a big pile of shite. So, with that out of the way, let's get started with the very first Jurassic Park. It is a simple masterpiece. Fun fact: when this movie came out, and it reached over $1 billion at the box office. It was the highest grossing film at that time. Now it's nowhere near that, but at the time in 1993 it was, and for good reason, because this movie is incredible. No expense spared. Um, I mean, it's legendary. This movie is so good. I grew up with this movie and thought it was absolutely terrifying. Now as an adult, I sit there and watch it, and I'm like, holy crap, dude, this is just such a good movie. Firstly, I mean, the CGI and the animatronics for the early 90s standard, off the charts. Incredible. It is so good. I remember being a kid and thinking this was real because of how realistic it looked. Now I watch it and I'm like, all right, yeah, yeah, you can see where, it's not all that realistic, at least the CGI. But with that being said, though, at the time, out of this world at how good it was. Um, and all the actors and then the actresses, they just blended so well. Rexy, this is her debut. Love that she is a queen. The Raptors, the big one, and the two like males supporting her or whatever. Um, awesome, terrifying. Those scenes at the end in the cafeteria and in the museum part of the what's it called? Oh god, the center. You know, so good, absolutely terrifying. Um, clever girl. Clever girl is just an iconic line. Samuel Jackson is in this movie for a while at least. Uh, he gets his arm like ripped off or whatever. Um, the Raptors were terrifying. The T Rex was terrifying. The Brachiosaurus was so iconic in that one scene. And of course, this will be the same for all the movies going forward. But the soundtrack, the song. I mean that. Oh my god, the Jurassic Park theme song is so iconic and so beautiful and just so triumphant. Everything about it is just lovely. Oh my god, it has to be up there. I think I have to put it number one. I did rate like these movies before, like right after Dominion, and I think I put it second. I think that's changing this time around. This movie was so good. Um, I don't want to update my device. Shut up. Right there. Boom. Now, on to the second one. A lot of people love this movie. I know it's not as universally loved as the first one, but it was, you know, life finds a way. All right. There's a lot of this one. Okay, let's just talk about what I like about it. So, the tall grass scene with the Raptors, for sure. So dope. That, oh man, just seeing people just being slowly picked off by this pack of Raptors, so dope. The parents, the duo of the Buck and Doe T Rex, awesome stuff, dude. The part with the truck, it's not a truck, but like that camper thing when it falls off like the cliff, then the T Rex like push it off or whatever, trying to get their baby back, dude. And just then getting revenge, so good, so good. The ending with the I don't remember which T Rex it was, but with the T Rex rampaging through San Diego, that was like my childhood dream slash nightmare. Like a part of me really wanted that to happen, but another part of me was like, that would be terrifying, and I'd be sad if a T Rex ate my dog. So that scene is very just, oh my. um It was just awesome. That's probably the most epic ending to any of these movies. I will say that. The T Rex rampaging through San Diego, pretty great. Jeff Goldblum returns in this. He's pretty awesome. That's a pretty reoccurring thing in this franchise. However, I will say this. I don't think I really like him in the lead role. I don't know what it is. There's something between the difference between this movie as than it was his performance in Jurassic Park and then Jurassic World Dominion. Something happened, and I don't really like him in like that lead role. I don't know why. Don't know what it is. Maybe more character because his daughter's in it. I don't know. I don't know. His girlfriend. I don't know. Um, Something else I don't know about this. Like I don't get it. Like a lot of the characters I don't remember. Like I've watched this movie over and over multiple times in my life. And the characters, like there's Ian, there's Sarah, a guy named Nick, I think. Maybe another guy named Eddie. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the daughter's name. Uh, and then there's like the big game hunter who's cool. Don't know his name. The rest of that group of people didn't know any of their names. The bad guy that gets killed by the baby T Rex at the end, don't know his name. I know what he's trying to do, don't know his name. It's probably something like Milton or something. Um, yeah, kind of a downgrade from the first one, but there's still like some really good stuff in there. And yeah, life finds a way for sure. Jurassic Park 3, man, I just, I think I have to put it in Life Finds a Way, but beneath Lost World. It's just, you know, yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. Okay, I'm actually going to put it here. They could, but they didn't stop to ask if they should. Um, Honestly, its biggest problems is that there's like nine drafts of this movie, and we only know the one that we have. It's considerably shorter than the first two. Um, and there was like production issues backstage, right? Like Jeff Goldblum was going to be in it, and then he wasn't because I think there was like a scheduling conflict or something. They went through a lot of drafts. They wanted Sam Neill's Alan Grant to like do this different stuff through all these different drafts, and before they settled on this movie being a rescue mission, which isn't a bad premise. I hate the Kirby's. The son is definitely the best one out of them, but I don't know. I just all of them, the Amanda and what the heck was the husband's name? Like Earl or something? Carl? I don't know. The Kirby's are annoying. The Spinosaurus, despite not being accurate, is I thought was pretty terrifying. I thought he was pretty awesome as like a villain that just kept like pursuing them aggressively, trying to eat them. And obviously, we didn't know at the time what Spinosaurus looked like, so we just well, so they did with the information that they had, and he looked menacing. It didn't have a lot of like screen time, but I mean, for what there was there, it's pretty epic, and I'm glad he got the return later on. Um, the Raptors with the frills and stuff, they looked awesome. They felt dangerous. The bird cage scene with all the oh dude, were they pteranodons? Yeah, pteranodons, I believe. That was pretty sick. Because up to that point, as a kid, you don't think pteranodons are that big until that scene, and then you're like, oh, they're taller than us. Like, and yeah, it's kind of terrifying. The one guy that stole the eggs, I hate him. I don't care for his existence. They just needed him to have extra turmoil amongst the group because he was trying to steal eggs to sell for the dig site, like a dumb little man. Um, Alan Grant does pretty good in this movie. It's just, I don't know. The Spinosaurus to me is the best part in this film, and they made a terrible decision by having it kill the T Rex. I know why they did it. They wanted to establish it as the new big bad, right? And that this Spinosaurus is a T Rex killer, and it goes out of its way to kill things. like other big dinosaurs like a T-Rex. However, that's probably not how that fight would go realistically. And then they even they shaved time on the fight. Like I think it was literally supposed to be like it literally lasts like 30 seconds, the fight between the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus or whatever, and that's it. And I think it's supposed to be at least twice as long, if not more than that. And I feel like it deserved to be longer. That fight scene. I don't know. Um, yeah, that's it. And for a long time, that was the last thing we got. The trilogy was over until this beautiful specimen of a movie came out, and it is literally the same as Jurassic Park, just bigger. I don't know if that necessarily means it's better, but it's definitely going up here. Um, I mean everything about it. I mean it's literally you take the same plot of the first movie and make it bigger. And in some ways that's better, in other ways it's not. But overall, great movie. And at one point, this movie was the fourth highest grossing movie of all time. Don't know the number, but it was well over $1 billion. And and that's insane. It's nowhere near that right now, but it was. um, Everything about it, the Indominus Rex, it was scary. Like it was truly something different because it was a genetically created dinosaur with as a hybrid, and I had all these different traits and whatnot, so which made it unpredictable, and it went on a warpath to figure out where it lies in the food chain, and it found out quickly it was number one. It was at the top. Um, Blue and her sisters. I mean, all of that. The plot twist where the Indominus has like part raptor, and they all like converge together as a one big pack. Um, I think Blue is a standout in this movie. Of course, Chris Pratt. I mean, say what you want to say about him nowadays, but at the time, he just came off a very successful movie as Star Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then he returns as this, and he's just as good. I can't think of her name, Bryce Dallas Howard or something. The girl that plays Claire, well done. The kids, Zach and Gray, well done. I feel like they could have done more with uh, Zach because he was like a teenager, but he quickly went from like the annoying big brother to like a protective brother that and I was like, can we see a little bit more of that? Like I would have liked to seen like the change. I mean, it's good that a big brother would immediately stop his annoying ways to protect his younger brother, but like I don't know, man. I feel like there should have been a little bit more. He kind of had like this bad boy persona because he was literally flirting with girls despite having a girlfriend that doesn't come back in the end. But it's fine. All the callbacks to the first movie was awesome. Um, the T-Rex taking out the Spinosaurus skeleton was like, there it is. Getting a little payback from the third movie. And then the fight scene between Rexy and the Indominus was pretty amazing. It's one of the best CGI battles ever. Like it's especially for 10 years ago, it was really good. It was really great. Of course, Infinity War came out, Endgame, there's Avatar 2, all this other stuff that's made bigger stuff, the Monsterverse. But at the time, it was one of the best CGI battles of all time. Um, it gets a little ridiculous there. At the end, Rexy and Blue teaming up. Um, like they're buds or something. But I mean, whatever. This is a giant like buffet of a movie where you just take whatever you want and you get everything you want, and they did it well. It was really good. You can really feel the panic when like all the pterosaurs and stuff come down and everyone starts panicking around and whatnot. Um, really good, really good. Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. A lot of people don't like this movie, and I kind of get why, but I feel like it gets hated more than it should, and I'm putting it up here. And welcome to Jurassic Park. Um, a darker movie than the first one for sure. The Endoraptor is like a bigger, badder threat. Not bigger, but like a scarier threat because it was genetically created to be a weapon as opposed to a what's it called? What's it called? Not like an animal in a zoo, an attraction. That's the word I was looking for. Um, and and it was kind of scary with it being smaller and stealthy, faster, you know. And I just wish we saw a little bit more of that. They also took a different plot, whereas like instead of a giant CGI battle, they instead went to smaller dinosaurs, the Indoraptor and Blue, which that's something I'd have to say that doesn't make sense. Blue should not have even been able to contest in that fight. It, you know, the Indoraptor should have just like snapped her neck and then ate her. But whatever, because whatever. We love Blue. Blue's amazing. She's if she was a standout in the first one, she's a bigger standout here. Um, the whole thing with Macy being a clone and stuff, I'm not against it. The history between Lockwood and Hammond, it's there, and I like to see it. All the dinosaurs being brought to the mainland. Oh my God! Actually, hold the frick up, back up. The most tragic dinosaur death in the entire franchise happens in this movie, with like the long neck. I think it was a brachio, uh, being left behind on the island and then being succumbed by the volcanic smoke. Right? Oh man, dude, that is tragic. Um, that is so sad, and it makes you feel that. Oh man, um, I can't think of his name now, but one of the actors, one of the new actors that wasn't in the first one, isn't that's in this one. Great comedic relief. Don't remember him, but like pretty cool, pretty funny guy, as well as the girl that was new with him. Oh, damn, I can't think of their name. That's pissing me off. Um, I thought it was a solid movie. Of course, at the end, all the dinosaurs get out, and Jeff Goldblum makes his awesome cameo, being like, "This is Jurassic World." Um, so basically, I'd like to have seen more of the Indoraptor. Um, and then I don't know, there's something was a little off. Like they tried to make it like a darker movie, but then like they Chris Pratt was starring in it, so they're like, we got to make it a little light and funny. And I think that kind of just ruined it. Make it dark. All right. Something I didn't say about the Lost World is that it was a darker movie. Let it be darker. Like, and that's going to be a problem moving forward. All right, because get this piece of shit down here. Fucking Jurassic World Dominion, man. Forget this. Fucking, I could spend an entire video talking about how much I despise this movie. I hate Jurassic World Dominion. And I think in general, unless you were a child or a parent of a young child, you hated this movie. Get this shite out of there. What the heck is this? That's a big pile of crap. You're absolute right it is. Let's talk about let's talk about the good things. Of course, CGI and animatronics look great. The cameos, not the cameos, but the returns. Jeff Goldblum stole the movie for me. Love that man. Will always love that man. And Ian Malcolm is a great character. Love that man. Not so much Alan and Ellie. I mean, seeing them, but it's just like an awkward love story, and I'm like, all right, we didn't need that. I understand y'all used to be a thing, but like that was over. That was like 30 years ago, and I just found that very awkward. Um, and then the bad guy. Okay, actually, let's talk about both threats. All right, the Giganotosaurus. The director compared the Giganotosaurus to the Joker, a mentally insane clown that has been the bane of Batman's existence for decades. Does the Giganotosaurus' short presence in this movie feel like the Joker? No, it does not. Okay, it does not. Actually, the Giganotosaurus just acted like a big apex predator. Its first little bout with Rexy, what happened? It was an apex predator establishing dominance. At the end, when he's like attacking like our group there, what happened? It's doing an apex predator thing, checking out new stuff in its environment. Nothing scary. It did take a spear, a fiery spear to the mouth, not for its troubles. Like, thanks a lot. Um, and even the fight scene in the big epic final fight scene at the end with Rexy was very lackluster. The Therizinosaurus showing up was cool and all, but like, why is it and Rexy besties? You know what I'm saying? No, I find that so stupid. And it was just anticlimactic. You didn't even see it. The camera was on the people instead of the fight. And then the Giganotosaurus had like less than 5 minutes of screen time. What is that? Drop the locust, which was stupid. This is a dinosaur movie. I do not care about these large bugs at all. Stop. Dumb. Okay. I don't care about the whole political thing that Biosyn is doing. I don't care. Okay. It's stupid. Should have been a part of it. And the Giganotosaurus should have been the main focus. The host, you know, I hated the Atrociraptors, but Chaos Theory came out, and now we see more of them, and we're like, all right, I'm not as upset with all that, and the characters that were in Italy at that time, not as upset about that anymore. But I used to be. Owen trying to do the raptor thing with a Carnotaurus and an Allosaurus with his hands up. No, they're not your raptors. They're dinosaurs, and they're going to eat you. That's something else. No one freaking dies except for the bad guy at the very end, and it's off screen. You don't even get to see it. But the Dilophosaurus showed up, so that's pretty cool. What? God, it's like they made this movie PG for kids for no reason. It's about dinosaurs. In pop culture, dinosaurs eat people. Or at least kill them, you know? Oh my god. Get that shit out of there. You know what I'm saying? And then they're not on here, but I like Camp Cretaceous. At least the first 3 seasons of it. The last 2 seasons with the drones and stuff gets a little weird, but they do introduce us to Big and Little Edie, as well as the Spinosaurus making its return back. That was pretty cool. That's like the only thing that really comes out of it for me. It's the only thing I really remember. I don't care for people controlling dinosaurs with like um uh like a console controller. Um, And then Chaos Theory is pretty fun too. It's a few years later. It's like around the events of Jurassic World Dominion, and that's been pretty cool. I will watch the next season of it when it releases. So I'd probably put Camp Cretaceous and Welcome to Jurassic Park. No, it has to be Lies Find a Way, and then I'll probably put Chaos Theory right there with it. But now let's get to the new one. I just watched it, literally just now. Um, Solid. I think it was a solid movie. I think it's kind of reformed. I'm gonna put it. I told my friend that I gave it a 7 out of 10. Like if I would rank it out of 7 or out of 10, I gave it a 7. Maybe like a 7.5. I did like the movie overall. There's definitely points. I'm gonna put it at the top of Life Finds. Yeah, no, I'll put it at the bottom here. Yeah, maybe not. I'll put it back right here. um, There's spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen it, don't watch this video. Go watch it, and then come back to this or whatever. A lot of good stuff. A lot of great performances. Um, my biggest problem is that there's definitely some bits of plot armor, and it's very noticeable. Like almost every story has like its little bits of plot armor for your main characters, right? Until you're ready to kill one of them off. But you need to tell it in a way where it's not noticeable. At this, it was like kind of blatantly noticeable, and you can't like talk around it. It's only like little bits here and there. The T-Rex scene was probably my favorite out of the entire movie. With the boat and the rivers, calling back to the original Michael Crichton novel. Pretty cool. The scene with the Mosasaurs and Spinosaurs was awesome. However, Spinosaurs would never swim out in open ocean. I know there's a big debate about them being fully swimmers or just semi-aquatic, waiting like a one of those birds that do that, cranes. Um, But I don't think anyone's arguing that they're out in the ocean swimming. I guess we don't have any proof of that, but like, I think it's pretty safe to say they didn't do that. Uh, I wish it explained why the four Spinosaurs are hanging out with the Mosasaurs. And with the trailer, it was heavily marketed that these were going to be big things, and it was for like the first third or half of the movie or whatever, and then they're just gone. And I thought that was okay because I thought they were going to be coming back for the end, and then they don't. The D Rex looks alien. It literally looks like a T Rex and a xenomorph and a gorilla had like a baby. I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out where it puts in the plot line, like the whole timeline of events. It says it was created 17 years ago. The movie takes place like 5 years after Dominion. So I guess that would put it like 2028. So 17 years prior would be 2011, which means they'd be gearing up to reopening Jurassic World. And like, all right, so that's when the D-Rex, or sometime after that, or sometime, the D-Rex was born sometime before that. Whatever. I thought it was pretty scary how it, acted and appeared out of the shadows and whatnot. Thought that was pretty cool. I think it's disappointing that there wasn't an epic clash at the end. Like, it was heavily teased and speculated that there would be an epic fight between it and the Spinosaurs, or at least one. um, and then that just doesn't happen. I feel like it was going to be in it, and then they cut it. And then so the ending is a little anticlimactic. The D-Rex just gets to live. I think they left that open for a sequel. If they wanted to do another trilogy, which that is fine, I guess. There is a good story with the character known as Duncan. Apparently, before the movie, at some point, they lost their kid to the Mosasaurs, his like son, and because of that, he and his wife or girlfriend couldn't stand to be with each other because they remind themselves too much. And at the end, he sacrifices himself for a kid. And throughout the whole movie, he's like, "We have to protect this kid." Throughout all of it, um, and that was pretty good. And then he didn't even have to die at the end, so that's pretty sick. Um, but that was also kind of like a point of like, all right, bud, that's dumb. We just saw this man eat the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? The Distortus Rex, which I think is kind of a perfect name for it because it looks like an alien. It does not look like it came from anything of this world. It is truly just a bunch of dinosaurs and animals chucked into one, and it looks like an abomination, a genetically created abomination. Um, the Quetzalcoatl scene was fun, although I don't get it. The man fell 500 feet apparently, and his fall was stopped by some giant ass like leaves off of trees, and then like water. But like, I don't know about it. And then they got down to him in seconds, 500 feet of like stairs, I guess, and they're just in seconds. All right, bud. All right, bud. Um, just a couple of moments where it kind of seemed like they were just teleporting around. The scene with the Mutadons were kind of cool, very resembling of that of the cafeteria scene in the first movie. That was really cool. Um, ha! I'm being called by like Wisconsin. That's funny on my phone. Fucking scammers. Anyways, that's all I have to say for it. They got the atmosphere. Overall, the atmosphere of Rebirth was pretty good. Not really like horror esque, but very suspenseful at times. Um, I just kind of wish, I don't know. At least the dinosaurs are acting like dinosaurs in this movie. All right, that's all I'm saying. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's really it. It's probably a solid center point of this movie, and I think they can make a sequel off of this if they wanted to. I think it did good enough for me to do that. However, if they don't, I think that's a solid way to end the franchise. It's a solid movie in my opinion. Um, yeah, and that's my list. That is my tier list. We got Jurassic Park and World, and No Expense Spared, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and Welcome to Jurassic Park. Life Finds a Way with Rebirth and The Lost World. They could, but they didn't ask if they should for JP3. And then Dominion that's a big pile of shite. So, that's all I got for you. That is my rankings of all of them. Plus Chaos Theory and Camp Cretaceous thrown in there, pretending it's down here with Life Finds a Way. Okay? That's all I have for you. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Please share it if you want. Leave some questions for the Q&A video. I really would still like to do that, but I need more. So, like, social medias will be down in the description, my TikTok and Instagram and all that. And I do upload to those kind of weekly, kind of. And other good stuff. I really guys hope you have a great day. Let me know what y'all think about my tier list and what y'all agree. What do y'all think about Rebirth? How would y'all change it up? All that great stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.